Welcome everyone to the Knitting by the Sea podcast. My name is Lisa. I am Saratoga Knitting on Instagram and on Ravelry. So come find me in either place. And I welcome you to my home today. It is the very first week of October and the weather is just starting to turn, which is lovely. It's almost time for Rhinebeck. I cannot believe it. But I live in Marblehead, Massachusetts, and we are just a little bit north of Boston. And I live in a very old house in a harbor town. So this house was built in 1750, originally as a warehouse, and then it was converted into a residence in 1850. So I feel very, we all feel very special that we have the opportunity to live here. Kind of feel like we're kind of keeping the tradition going here in Marblehead, which is just a lovely feeling. Anyway, today we'll do a couple of things. We will do some finished objects, and we will do some works in progress, and we'll talk a little bit. I thought I would bring out some of my shawls. I was kind of getting my sweaters and shawls ready for for the fall season. And so I thought I would show you some of the shawls that I have, just kind of do a little bit of a retrospective. It was kind of interesting for me to take a look and see what I had. Just the ones that I have here, I probably have about 4 or 5 of them just kind of tucked away in my work drawer. But yeah, and then we'll do some chatter at the end. So let's get started. Finished objects. Well, the very first one that I have, of course, is what you see here. This is the Beaumont jumper. Originally, it's a free pattern. I found this on the Blacker Yarn website. So it's designed to be knit in Blacker yarns. This is not, but that's what it's designed for. And it is, let me tell you who it is by. It is by Sonia Bargalowski. So it's a really beautiful sweater. I was first drawn to this sweater because of the construction. It starts on at one cuff here, and it works all the way up across the top, and then it comes down to the other sleeve. And so you're doing cables everywhere all the way along. So I really thought that was very, very interesting. And then once you're done with this piece, you block it, and then you pick up stitches all the way around, and you just knit down in stockinette all the way down. There's a little bit of short row shaping so that the back is a little bit longer than the front, and then you do about, I don't know, it's about 1.5 inches or so extra, and then you tap. You fold that under. There's a line of purl stitches, and then you fold it under, and you just tack it down so you have a nice, a little bit of a thicker hem, and it also makes it hang a little bit better. This actually was originally designed to be my Rhinebeck sweater this year, but it's actually going to be Sophia's Rhinebeck sweater. It actually fits her better than it fits me, and the entire time that I was knitting it, she's like, so that's my sweater, Mom, right? So that's my sweater. That's my sweater. That's what I'm going to be wearing in Rhinebeck. So that's life. So she has claimed this for her own. I'm really excited for her to see it, so that if you come to Rhinebeck, if you're going to be there, you'll be able to see her in this sweater. It actually will look really nice against her red hair. But I'm pleased with the way that it turned out. The yarn that I used, I have it here. It's Elan.com Soft Embrace 4-ply. So this is it here. And it is, I think I had said this before. It is superwash. So we could actually machine wash this and then dry it flat. We did not do that. I hand washed it and then hand blocked it. I guess I could try it probably after Rhinebeck. I might try that and see how that works. We can do it. Anyway, this yarn is probably not the best choice. I had purchased this yarn to make a different pattern, and then when I found this and I thought I would try this one, I had all of this. I had a sweater's worth of this yarn, and I thought I would try it. This is a fingering weight sweater, so remember that. This is cables in fingering weight. Why do I do this to myself? I can't. How many fingering weight sweaters have I done? But yeah, this is fingering weight. And this particular yarn, it grew a little bit, probably not in the places that I wanted it to once I blocked it out. The sleeves are a little bit too long. They were the right they were the right length when I was making. Sorry about that. They're doing something over here at the yacht club, so you could hear that banging. But it's such a nice day. I still have the windows open. So, but anyway, the sleeves are a little bit too long. They blocked out. They kind of grew when I blocked it, just taking it out of the water. So I wasn't really happy with that. And that's another reason why this wouldn't be my favorite sweater. I'm not a big fan of having the sleeves too long. If I was going to wear this, I would be tucking these babies right in, so that they were a regular size. If I was going to keep this, I probably would actually tack them in. I couldn't really unpick this and knit it again because it starts and ends, and it's got all the cables in. I would not want to do that. But Sophia said she really likes the long sleeves, so great, perfect for her. So again, this wasn't the best. If I was going to do it again, I would not choose this yarn. This yarn is also very smooth. It's very, very smooth. It's wool. As I said, it is Australian wool, but it is superwash. So so the scales are very flat on it, and it's very slippery. So it had a tendency to not fall off the needles, but as you're doing the cables, it was just a little more difficult. If the yarn had a little more tooth to it, grabbiness, the cables would have been a little bit easier to do, but that was fine. I do my cables without a cable needle. I've done that for a long, long time, and that worked really well because these are really only just 4-stitch cables all the way through, except right on the in the middle of the sleeve. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. As I said, if I did this again, I would use a different yarn for it. And yeah, I think I'm much more of a process knitter, I think, than a product knitter. So really what drew this to me was the interesting construction. I wanted to see if I could do it. And it is not for the beginner cable knitter. I definitely want to say that. It's totally a free pattern. Go and take a look at it. It's on the Blacker website. You can get it on Ravelry. It's a great pattern for being a free pattern. But I really had to, when I started it, the charting wasn't really very clear how many cables you had to do around based on the number of stitches that they had you cast on. So it was a little bit confusing. And what I ended up doing, which is always a good tip, is that I went back to the pictures on Ravelry, because this pattern's a couple of years old, and there are a lot of people that had knitted already. So I was able to look at the patterns, and people had really close-up patterns. I'm so grateful that people do that. I'm the worst at that. I take a few pictures of my projects, but I don't really keep good notes on Ravelry. I just don't. It's just not in me to do it. I know I should, but I don't. I know that about myself. But anyway, I was able to go to the project pages for this pattern and look at, actually kind of zoom in on the sleeves, the beginning of the pattern. And once I did that, it made sense what the repeat was of the cable stitches, and so that was very, very helpful. So if you ever have questions about a particular pattern, definitely look at Ravelry and look at the project pages of other people that have done it, because you'll get a lot of good notes, you'll get really good pictures, and you'll be able to kind of put it together. So for me, this was a really interesting intellectual knit. I really enjoyed doing this. It was just really a super interesting construction that I just had never come across before. I'm sure that there are other patterns that do this, but I had never knit a sweater like this before. So if you come to Ravelry, if you come to Rhinebeck, you'll be able to see it up close, and it is very light. It's very, very light. This is not going to be a hot sweater whatsoever. It'd be a really nice sweater just to kind of wear over a tank top. This would work really, really well right at this time of the year, early fall, very late summer, early fall, and then it'll be great again for the springtime as well. So I'm very, very pleased with this. So that's my first finished object. I'm very, very happy with it, and it it's really come out well. And Sophia's over the moon, and she's in love with it. So that's a nice thing for a mom to have. What else have I finished? I'll just show I think I showed these the last time, but I just want to make sure that people know this. These are the, I'm going to say this wrong, Adige socks. Adige. Sorry, Mina. They are a pattern by Mina Sorvana, and she's also on Ravelry. She also has a Finfrost on Instagram, and she has a very lovely podcast, which I really like. She put out a call for test knitters for a pair of socks over the summer, and I kind of jumped on the bandwagon. They're not my usual go-to sock pattern construction. I'm usually a toe-up person, and these were knit top down with a gusset heel flap and gusset. So I kind of went out there and said I really should go back and try that again. And they are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I had this beautiful dark yarn that I wasn't sure what to do with. And I thought, you know what, this is a beautiful lace pattern. I'm going to use this yarn, and they're going to be beautiful, elegant socks. And I actually wore them. This is the first time I wore them this week to work. It's the first time I've gotten out my hand knit socks for the season. So this is my latest pair, and this is the first pair that I wore. The pattern is now available on Ravelry. So if you haven't checked it out, go take a look at it. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. Let's see if I can show you the close up here. So it has this beautiful cable pattern with these little eyelets on the side, and it has a ribbing. It doesn't start with ribbing. The pattern starts right at the top of the sock, and then there's twisted rib here, goes all the way down, and then there's a heel flap and a gusset, and then it goes down to the toe. Very, very comfortable to wear. I was really excited about that. I haven't worn a pair with a heel flap and gusset in a long time, because that's not what I usually knit, but these are just beautiful. And I really think that even in that dark yarn, when you wear them, they just are very, very elegant and the perfect for work. And the pattern, you can get it on Ravelry now, so they're beautiful. And then the third project, I'll probably bring this to Rhinebeck as well, because you just never know what maybe I'll bring this. Never know what the season will bring. But this is the Floats Cowl, and it is by an original pattern. It's a free pattern on the Pearl Soho website. You gotta love all these free patterns that are out there, but Pearl Soho does some really beautiful free patterns, and this was a pattern on their website, and I really liked it. And this is hand spun that I used. I had hand spun, and I also combined it with, I applied it with a beautiful, very light pink from a skein of silk yarn that was from Switzerland. So really, it's really just very, 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 very elegant. So this is how it came out. The Floats Cowl is actually kind of a backwards cowl. If you used a plain yarn, so the sample that they used was a beautiful, lovely cream color. And when you do that with the coloring, it really shows the inside, because it shows the float. So this is really, for them, the inside of the cowl is actually the outside of the cowl. So the wrong side is the right side for it. For this yarn that I used, that didn't really work very well with the hand spun and just the color changes. So I would just use it on the outside. It really doesn't matter. It's a wraparound huge cowl, so that doesn't matter whether you see it from the inside or out. What I did, which was a very rookie mistake, was that, the usual cast on stitches, join them in the round, make sure you don't twist. Well, you got a 50-50 chance when you're doing something like that. And it's very difficult because you have so many stitches on the needle to actually do that correctly. What I usually do when I cast on and then I need to join in the round is I will usually just knit back and forth 1 or 2 rows. That wasn't going to work that well because I had the floats on this particular one. There's slip stitches on this one, so it wasn't going to work that well. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be really careful and try to do it. But yeah, I was really careful and didn't do it. Did not do it right. So this is now, I call this my accidental Mobius cowl because that's what it is. It is twisted. It's totally, totally twisted. Which is perfectly fine, but see, there you go. You can see that it's perfect. It's twisted, but it really is not going to matter one whit when you put it on. because it's just going to be perfectly fine, perfectly wonderful. It's hand spun, so it's really beautifully soft, and the color is great. I really love it. I really enjoyed it. This was a really good bust knitting project as well, because it's just the same. I mean, it's like a 2 or 3 row repeat, and it's really easy to memorize and keep going. So I really would recommend it. I think it is beautiful in that cream colored yarn that they show on the website. And if you had a single color yarn, it really would be really cool to see the inside as the outside, but not with the hand spun. But it was perfectly fine. I'm really happy. I'm happy to have knit with my hand spun. I haven't done that in so long. This really is gorgeously soft. Not an itch to it. It's merino. It was just really beautiful fiber. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to take that off because it's not that hot. It's not that cold today. But yeah, so that's my last finished object for today. So I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with this. And then just as a reminder, because people will ask, what I'm wearing is the NG sweater by Jennifer Stein-Gass. This was gifted to me by Patricia last year, Patricia of the Knitography vlog. And yeah, this is a beautiful Icelandic inspired sweater with the yoke, and a lot of some of the yarn that I used in the yoke, some is hand spun, some is some kind of special yarns that I picked up at either Rhinebeck last year or at the Knit Local the year before. So I'm really happy with how this the color turned out. The gray is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, so that's the basic yarn that I used for that. And what I actually did today, I pulled this back out. This is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. So this is what I'm going to wear on Saturday to Rhinebeck. So if you see the sweater, that's me, and come and say hi. But I don't know what I'll wear on Sunday. We're going to be there both days this year. But this will be the sweater that I'm wearing. And it's just, I forget, I put this away for the summer. And this pattern, it really fits me very well. If you remember, this is this one that I started when I started it months and months ago. I cast on like 3 times the number of stitches that I needed. It was so much. I think that you could see it in the podcast episode. I think it's called Knitting Failed, because it was crazy how many stitches that I mean, I could have fit 3 of me in the sweater that would have created. But once I got over that hurdle, it's great, and it's so comfortable, it's so soft, and it's just, I'm going to be pulling this out every day. I think people at work are going to be like, oh my God, she's wearing that sweater again. But yeah, this is a sweater. The sizing is great for me. I would definitely make this again. This will definitely, another one of these at some point will be in my future knitting plans, but this is what I will be wearing at Rhinebeck, so come and say hi. Okay, so let's move on to some works in progress. Works in progress. Let's see what I have on the needles. Now, starting October 1st, or it started on October 1st, the Harry Potter Oloops Knit Along. I do this every year. I'm one of the moderators. I am the professor for Hufflepuff House. It's my favorite knit along every year. It's a 3-month knit along, so there's lots of knitting that goes into it. We are in our 6th year now. I really cannot believe that. So there are people in our group that I have known just through Ravelry and Instagram for the last 6 years. So it's really great. I think we've really created a really nice bond on that group, and the knit along just gets bigger every year, and it gets more and more fun. So we have main challenges each month. So it runs from October, November, and December. So we have main challenges, and then we have extracurricular challenges, and then we have some knit along length challenges. So for me, I'm a 6th year in the knit along. So we are doing newts this year. So you have to do something that relates to to a job that you would like to do after you graduate from Hogwarts. So it's really fun. You have to, in order to participate each year, you have to purchase at least one skein of the Harry Potter yarn put together by, or dyed by Lydia of Oloop's Yarn. And once you do that, you get a sorting letter, and you get your yarn, you get some goodies. She sometimes has prefix kits that you can order as well. And so once you're sorted into one of the 4 houses, and then you sign into your house, and there's a thread for the Great Hall, so everybody can come together there. And there are announcements made there, and people post pictures there. And then there are some finished objects, threads for all of the different challenges that we have each month. And then we each have a house thread, so that's where you can come on in and get to know your housemates, etc. There's a swap that goes on during it. There's a holiday Christmas card swap that goes on as well. So it's really just a really fun project. So usually my October, November, and December knitting is kind of geared around completing the challenges in that, and that's what it will be this year. My first one that I'm doing is I am doing the Bubbly Sweater by Isabel Kramer. And I've always wanted to do this sweater. This is very similar in shape and sizing and making as this sweater here. And it's going to be for my mother-in-law for Christmas. So this is great. So this is my new project. So this is going to take me October, November, December. It's starting to go pretty fast, so maybe I'll get it done before that. But it's a good push for me to get this done. I think I had mentioned in a previous podcast that we gave a present to my mother-in-law for her birthday back in the spring, and it was wrapped in this really beautiful turquoise tissue paper. And she said, within my hearing, to Sophia, not to me, to Sophia, I wonder if your mother would ever knit me a sweater in this color. Just a little not too subtle hint there. So what I decided was I would do that, and I'll do it as part of the Harry Potter knit along. And I'm doing the Bubbly Sweater because I will I'm saying the how it fits, the explanation as to how it fits the challenge is that I'm interested in being a potions professor when I graduate. So Bubbly, the name of the pattern, works perfectly for that. So here it is. This is really, really pretty. It's a top down yoked sweater again. So this is this beautiful color. This is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, so same as this. So I know that it's really going to wear well. It's going to be soft and beautiful. And this is exactly the color that she wanted. It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. And here's the color work. So it creates bubbles on the top here. So I'm probably maybe halfway through the chart, and I'm not even that far, but it's really pretty. So these will be down here. I think you also have an option of putting these around the bottom and also around the sleeve. So I might do that. I haven't decided. I'll figure that out when I get there. But it's going really, really quickly. So I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased with this. I cast this on October 1st, right when the first thing I figured I'd get this going right away because this was the biggest project. So I'm very, very pleased. Really pleased with this. And it's really pretty. It's really pretty, and the pattern is very easy, and there really is not a lot of, it's only 2 colors, so that's nice. This was more complicated because there were more than 2 colors in it, but really this is you can probably do as many colors as you want, but this is just going to be I'm just having the bubbles in the white and with the turquoise here, the beautiful color here. So very pleased with this. Hopefully it fits her, and hopefully it's done by Christmas. So we'll see. Keep me honest on this one. So let's see. Next I have, oh yeah. Are these them? I have my little bags here. I'm not sure what's in them. It's a surprise. A surprise. This is a really nice bag. I forget. I think I got this in a swap. And it's really, I'm sure I did. It's really, really nice. But what's nice about this is that it has a handle on it. So sometimes if I have way too much stuff in my backpack going to work, I can actually still carry my knitting conveniently instead of trying to carry a one-off bag. So I purchased last April when we went to Venice, Florida for our vacation. I was so wonderfully invited to Needlefish Yarns for knitting around the table. It was lovely. It was a knitting morning there. And of course I had to purchase some yarn. So I did. And they had some Legacy Fiber Arts yarn there, which I have never, I've never knit with before. And I was like, I'm going to try that. Why the heck not? I'm going to get some of that. So I did. So, and this is the color. It's really beautiful. I really like all these oranges and the browns and the yellows. It's just feels very fall to me, of course, so I'm really pleased with this. So the pattern I decided to do, I joined Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. She actually just put out a sock club. So I think there's 3 sock patterns that are going to come out, and the first one is out now, which is the one I'm doing, and I think there's going to be two more coming along. And I always enjoy Kay's patterns. They're very, very well written. They're not super complicated, and they really just are beautiful. So I thought I would do that, and I decided to do that. So these are the Jemima. I think this one is this is Jemima Puddle Duck. So these are the socks right here. There we go. And I started these before October 1st. The first one, because one of the challenges is called Slug Club. And basically what you can do is you can, if you have one sock at least started before October 1st, if you finish your second sock during the time of the knit along, then you get points. So I did start this before, so I'll finish it for Slug Club for Harry Potter. So this is my first one, and I really like this a lot. Isn't this pretty? It's a very simple pattern, so it really just shows off the yarn, the beautiful colors in the yarn, and this is the bottom, so you can see it there. Yeah, but I'm really super happy with these. Beautiful, beautiful yarn, super soft. They're going to be really nice. This again, I'm going to do toe up, fish lips kiss heel, and then up and do the cuff last. So this is my kind of cookie cutter way to do this. I think Kay's pattern actually is cuff down, but as I said, I usually just kind of do my own thing when I'm knitting socks. So I'm really very pleased with these. So super happy with these. These are going really, really quickly. Again, bus knitting, perfect for the bus, perfect. I work in Boston, and although it's only about 20-minute drive, on a good day, no traffic, I have about an hour and a half commute. Actually, in the morning I take the bus, and then I take the T. So yeah, I have plenty of time to work on my knitting. And then my main project for Harry Potter for the month of October is going to also be a pair of socks. And this challenge is something to do with anything to do with Harry and Ginny. And so I'm going to be doing the Weasley Homestead socks. I have not knit those before, and I have them in here. Got them in my Birdie and Poppet bag from Gail. I love this bag. And I'm going to be using this is the Hogwarts Will Always Be My Home Ascot base from Oloops. So here, this is the yarn. This is the lid yarn. As you can see, I have not even skeined this up yet. I need to do this. I need to do this. I'll probably do that this weekend, and then get these on the needles. As I said, I really wanted to start the sweater first, but I'm going to get to this. And isn't this gorgeous? These colors are amazing, and they're going to be a beautiful, beautiful pair of socks, and they'll go quickly. I definitely will be able to get these done before the end of October. So I'm super happy. I'm really looking forward to casting those on. And then we also have a section where we can, anything that we need as a Christmas gift or a holiday gift, we can put in and get some points for it. So I have, my next project is going to be a gift. I haven't decided who yet, but and this one is kind of an interesting one as well. This is called the Celtic Cable Neck Warmer, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is for this beautiful neck warmer that just kind of crosses over, has some buttonholes, and you just put some. The sample shows these beautiful silver kind of with Celtic cable buttons on them. And I might look for some buttons at Rhinebeck actually. So it's a neck warmer, and it's cable. It's really beautiful cable. So I have this great yarn that I picked up. I think I got this last year at the Knit Local. I'm pretty sure I did. It didn't have a label on it, so that means that's probably where it came from. But this is it. It's really, I love the color of this. It's just beautiful. This is, it's definitely like, it's like a heavy worsted, or even it's knitting up kind of like into a bulky weight. It's pretty toothy yarn. It's not super soft, but it's not super itchy or anything. It would be perfectly fine around your neck. However, this is a case where, again, finding the right yarn for the project is pretty imperative. But, you know, and as I said, I am a process knitter, so I actually like going through this process. You can tell I'm not going to use this yarn for this project, and I'll show you why. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And what this hat really, I mean, what this yarn really needs to be is a hat. I think that's what I'll end up doing with this. But here's the first part of it. You can see all these cables. They're gorgeous. And, you know, if you see a pattern like this, is actually a good pattern. I am not a big fan of the way they have the chart set out, only because the symbols on the chart are a little wonky. And not wonky, it's just that they're kind of hard, the way they have the symbols. They've got 2 lines and a dot, and it's just hard to look at on the chart. And what I use Knit Companion when I'm doing a chart like this, so I'm able to go through and color code each block. And that's really what I had to do, is take each cable, and I had to color block it so I could then easily see which cable I was supposed to be doing, because as you can see, there's lots of crossovers. But again, I'm still doing this without a cable needle. There's no cable here that's more than 4 stitches, so it's really easy to do just without a cable. So you can without a cable needle. So you can see this, how lovely this is, and it's just a lovely pattern. But the fabric is pretty stiff. Now I could go up a needle size and it would be looser, but then it would probably be too big, you know, because this is really what this is correct. This is the right size around your neck, as it goes here and then it goes all the way around and do this. And it will be beautiful in this needle size. So you're going to get the right size here. But I think I'm just going to unravel this and use this lovely yarn for a hat instead. But, you know, I did this in an evening. So this actually is going to go very fast, even though it's all cables. It goes really quickly. So I did this in an evening, so I don't have any problem about ripping this out and starting fresh. You know, I really like the process, and this actually is really good. It's a swatch, basically. Swatch for doing the pattern. Sitting down and doing this made me realize that the chart looked a little bit wonky for my eyes to follow, so that I spent the time, while I was doing this, I spent the time to color code each of the symbols on there, which really helped. So now when I go back to do the next one, it'll be right there for me. So it was definitely worth the time, worth doing this, worth it to just, once again, you know, you just, you know, I could soldier on and say, I'm just going to use this because I started this, but I'm not going to. I have some other yarn, actually, that I got in a swap last year, which is really beautiful. This is shepherd's wool, and this is going to be right. This is super soft. It's got some drape to it, and I think this is going to be quite lovely. That's a little bit, it's a little darker green than it's coming out on the screen here, but this is going to be great in these cables. It's going to be perfect. So I'm going to rip this out, and then I will cast this on as well. And as I said, and the funny thing was, I pulled this out to show Sophia. And I was like, oh, you know, I didn't show you that cable piece that I was starting. And she's like, huh, that looks really familiar to me, Mom. And I'm like, really? And I showed her the pattern. She goes, yeah. She goes, I knit this before. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I don't think I ever finished it. I was using some beautiful alpaca. I'm like, how could she not finish it? But that's okay. She goes, I'll go back to it at some point. But yeah, she goes, yeah, I have that. I downloaded that pattern. I have that as well. I was like, really? That's crazy. But anyway, be that as is may. This will be another one that I will, that I'll cast on and complete for the Harry Potter and knit along. So very pleased with that. I actually like this. I got finished with this. This was kind of the big thing that was on my plate. and on my mind, thinking that I had to, you know, get this done. And it's good for me to have something like that, because I'm like, okay, well, I had a deadline and I knew it was going to be Rhinebeck, so that was fine. It really made me work on it. This part is tough because it was just all stuck in the round, but it was great to get it done. So now I kind of feel I'm free of this particular one. So now I have all of these new ones on the go. I'm really happy with each of those. So yeah, so that's what I have on the go. Oh, and just to make you aware, the cat just snuck in the door. So we do have a cat. You won't see her, but you might hear she has a little bell on her. She's trying to knock the chair here. She's not quite sure who I'm speaking to, whether she's going to try to get up on my lap. But anyway, she has a little bell, so you might hear the bell. I don't really hear it anymore, but you might hear it, so it might show up on there if she tries to get up in the... She's probably going to try to get up in the window because it's open over there. But anyway, all right, let's move on to a look at my shawls. Okay, let's take a look at some of the shawls that I pulled out. I said before, I pulled out all of my sweaters, and I've gone through about half of them, which is really nice. I try to do that every year, just kind of air them out a little bit. For some of them I'll go ahead and wash, but I bought a gleaner this year. If you don't know what a gleaner is, it's a little tool, and it has these teeth on it, and so it basically, you just run it over your sweater, and it takes all the pills off of it and just makes the fabric nice and smooth. Again, it's really very, very useful. I had never had one before, but then I realized I had all these different sweaters. I really needed one. So I've been doing that. I kind of did half of them, or maybe a third of them the other day, and then I did more today, and I still have a pile to go. But because I did that, I was like, I remembered that I wanted to get out all my shawls. I watch a podcast, Britt Stricknerd. She's from Sweden, I think. Oh, Britt. I'll have to look that up. I'll let you know. I'll put the link here on the screen as well. Lovely woman. She does the most gorgeous, beautiful knitting. She uses gorgeous colors. She takes beautiful pictures. She just seems to have so much joy in her knitting and her life. I have no idea what she's saying because she doesn't record in English. But it's great anyway. I really don't mind that. It's great. And yeah, so she's very, very lovely. And she, in her last podcast episode, she took out a bunch of her shawls, and she showed pictures of them and talked about them. So I said, that's a great idea. I'm going to steal that idea. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that as well. So the first one, and again, I said before, this is not my entire shawl collection. I've been knitting shawls for a long time. Some I have at work, some are upstairs in Sophia's room. So this is just a kind of a sample of what shawls that I've knit in the past. The first one I have here is called the Frozen, and it's by Lily Nordic Stitches, and it's really pretty. I really like it. It's a triangular shawl, and it has a really simple lace pattern, and then this beautiful textured pattern, and then the lace pattern texture lace, and goes all the way down. This was lovely. This is just a beautiful, lovely shawl knit in fingering weight yarn, and it blocked out beautifully. Simply just really beautiful. I think this was Eden Cottage yarn maybe that Sophia got me when she was in England. But just really beautiful. And again, I probably would just wear this right around and wrap it right around and go right underneath my jacket, or take it to work and do it there. This is more the big one here like this. This is more going to be something that I would wear under a coat, not necessarily wear it kind of just with a turtleneck or whatever. So beautiful. I'm really going to pull this one out. Happy to have that one there. Let's see. Oh, this one I really like as well. See, this is great. It's like Christmas. This one is the Yexa shawl, and this is by Janine McCarty. And Janine put out a call for test knitters for this pattern, and she also sent me the yarn to do it too. So this was great. So this is yarn that's dyed by her as well. And the Yeska is again, it's a triangular shawl. So I really like the triangular shawls, and it's just beautiful. It has these lovely lace patterns and some textured patterns and some striped patterns and lace again and more stripes and the lace and then the texture down at the bottom. Lovely, lovely shawl. And again, this blocked out, just gorgeous. I love it. So this is something that, I will wear. I'll just tuck that right under our office in the winter. Actually, all year, my office is freezing cold. I don't really know why. The area that we're in, it probably used to be some type of a lab, and it's like an airplane hangar. It has glass windows on the top that leak sometimes when it rains, and it's very hard for them to control the heat in there. I think, it's one of those, maybe over the next year or two, they're supposed to do some renovations in there and make it more palatable for people to actually work. But it means that we have heaters under. We're just like, I have blowers blowing on my neck, so I always need something. So that's why I have a bunch of these at work already, and then can use these during the winter when I go to work. But this is beautiful. I'm really pleased with the Yexa shawl again. This is available on Ravelry as well. And then, oh yeah, I got a lot of test knits in this pile here. It's crazy. Then the next one, everybody kind of remembers this one, I'm sure. This is so beautiful. This is huge. So this is the Sorrento shawl by Marcia Ibuki. And this was also a test knit. I didn't know what I was getting into when I agreed to do this one, but this is just gorgeous. This is all knit and fingering weight. It's extremely lightweight, but it's extremely big. I can't even hold it all the way. It's extremely big, but it is super, super lovely. And this actually went very, very quickly when I started knitting it. I got this beautiful, I think this yarn has cashmere in it. And then this lovely striped yarn was a gift to me from a friend. And I hadn't known what to do with it yet. And I decided to use it in this. Just absolutely beautiful. And because this yarn has the cashmere in it, it's so beautifully soft and drapey. Unbelievable. So this has just all these different sections of beautiful lace and texture and the open lace. And this was really beautiful at the bottom. I really liked this, all of this patterning here at the bottom. And then it has these little picot edging, which took forever, but totally worth it. Really beautiful. I liked how this, how it turned out. This is a perfect shawl. This I have taken over to the yacht club. If you're out on the deck in the summertime, sometimes it's a little bit cool in the evenings, and so this is just the perfect wraparound shawl to bring along, and it just looks so lovely. It's so elegant, and it's so soft. So this is just, this is one of my favorites. I like this one a lot. I'm really happy that I got to test knit this one. Another one of my I haven't made one in quite a while. This is the Stripe Study shawl by Vera Velimaki. This is one of my favorite shawl patterns, or it was. I probably have made 3 of them at least. I know I gave one away. I have 2 of my own. And I just haven't gone back to it, and I should. This is another one that I definitely should revisit this year, because I really like the Stripe Study shawl. So you're using 2 different colors. I have 2 different. The first yarn is kind of a tonal yarn, and then I have the pinkier more variegated. So it's really nice. It's an asymmetrical. So I forget. I think you must use short rows at some point in here. I haven't done this, as I said, in a while. I really enjoyed making this, though. I think what's the other one? The Color Affection. I'm not a fan of that. I did make the Color Affection, but I always find that's more of a crescent shape, I think. And the edging for me on those shawls, it's always a little too tight. No matter what I do, it's always a little too tight. It just doesn't kind of fit that well or feel that good. I'm not that pleased with it as a process knitter. I'm not an expert at the edging on a crescent shawl. But this one is not like that, and I just love it. So you need 2 skeins of yarn, but boy, you get a ton of yardage out of it, and it's really pretty. I love the colors. It's quite lovely. So I definitely would revisit this pattern again sometime. I have to keep this in mind because it's one of those patterns. Once you know what you're doing, you really don't have to think about it at all. You just keep going. It's easy to read, but it's a great pattern. It's classic. You can make this in so many different colors, so many different color combinations, and it will look different in every single one and beautiful in every single color combination as well. So I highly recommend this. So this is the Stripe Study Shawl by Vera Balamaki. It's been around for years. Tons of people have done it. So there are lots of examples on Ravelry. Beautiful. And then I have so many I have to turn the page here because I don't remember names. Oh yes, here we go. So the next one I have is the Gum Blossom Shawl by Meg Gadsby. Meg is an Australian designer. She designs mostly shawls and they're so pretty. Oh, this was so pretty. Don't you love this? Oh my gosh, look at this. This is beautiful. The lace and the little butterfly kind of a stitch here. I remember having some, again, a process knitter that I am. I remember having some difficulty with this stitch to start with, and I did start this and I ripped it out and I started it again because I just knew that the way I was doing the stitch wasn't right, and I pulled up some tutorials on YouTube and got going and was like, oh, now I understand what I'm doing. This makes so much more sense to me. So super pretty. This is just a really super lovely little shawlette kind of thing to have around you during the spring. So it's got pink, and this is what I would wear it with, in the spring, just with a really light turtleneck, keep myself a little bit warmer at work, and going to work as well. Is a really nice accent piece. So I'm very pleased with, super pleased with this. We have some, I was like, what is that noise? And we have some like witch's brooms in the fireplace because it's not a working fireplace. And I was like, what is that noise? And she's like chewing on one of them. So it's okay. Just so you know what that is, if you can hear it. So I really like, this is a really pretty Gum Blossom shawl. And then I have the Yellow Roses shawl. This was a big favorite when I wore this one. I really liked, I liked this shawl quite a bit. And it's really pretty. This is knit with Little Bean Crochet yarn. And it is a very kind of a long shawlette. And it has this really pretty lace pattern. Ooh, you can see right through it there. And this one, I just kind of just wrapped it around and around, and around my neck, like this. So it's like a big cowl almost. And this was really super warm, super pretty, but a really nice accent. It's a really great color. Kayleen, who lives in Marblehead, and she does the Little Bean Crochet. Lovely, just love this yarn. It's beautiful. Real super happy with this. So this was the Yellow Roses by Clothesline Designs. And then I have the Cozy Schlanket, of course, by Mina, the Knitting X-Pack. I really like this one. I like them all. I keep saying that, but I really enjoyed this one. This I knit out of worsted weight yarn, and I forget what the brand was, but it was just a kind of a generic American brand that I got at our local yarn shop, Marblehead Knits, but I really liked the colors that I put together for this one. So this is a really big, beautiful, comfy, it's got all this, it's kind of had some little flecks in there in the yarn. I really like the colors that I put together for it. This is one that I take downstairs and I'm going to throw on when I'm watching television, so I can keep nice and warm in the winter time, because it can get a little chilly here in this very old house. But this is a perfect to just throw on the couch downstairs and have it, and I can just throw it on if I need it and take it off. So super happy about this one. And the last one that I have today, again, I love the colors on this. This is the Zilver Shawl by Lisa Mooch, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry. And again, there's tons of examples of this. So this one, I used a plain black, and then I used this beautiful variegated yarn in between. And it really just is just gorgeous. Comes out quite lovely. Isn't that pretty? I love, it's a simple pattern. Again, nice and light with the fingering weight yarn. This is perfect to, again, sorry for the work going on at the yacht club there, but this is just lovely. I really like this quite a bit. I love the colors. They're really beautiful. And I lied. I had one more. I fell down here. this is a really pretty one too. So this is a pattern called the Sock Knitter's Shawl by Kay Jones. And what Kay decided is that she had a ton of self-patterning sock yarn. You know, you get the ones, Regia, and there's tons of them. So they're self-patterning. So she was just like, you know, what else could I do with that yarn instead of making a pair of socks? So she came up with a little shawlette pattern that only takes one skein of sock yarn, and it's this. So that's why it's called the Sock Knitter's Shawl, because she's using self-patterning sock yarn for this, and it really comes out really cute. So this is all, I think this was like a Regia Spice Market or something. I mean, it was really pretty colors. And then it has this, you just use a contrasting yarn to do the rolled edging here at the bottom, which is super nice. And again, this is just a really super nice light thing to throw around in the springtime when I go to work. And I'm really pleased with this one. I'm always amazed that there's so many shawl patterns out there. Just, you know, anything that you want you can make in a shawl, which is really great, because that's nice. Especially, you know, I'm not a big person for jewelry, but these are a great way to accessorize my very plain very plain wardrobe. I have a lot of blues and blacks and turtlenecks, but these are great for that, because that just like brings a pop of color around my neck. And then of course I have a pop of color because I wear my hand knit socks all the time as well. So that has been my shawl retrospective for today. So let's move on to some chatter. Okay, so what's been happening around here? We have a few things that have happened. I was very lucky to be offered another promotion at work. So excited about it. My boss had finished her master's degree, and she was elevated to a different position. So she is now a data specialist for the entire enrollment management team, and that left her position, the associate director position for the office, open. And at first I wasn't going to apply for it because it had a component of some technical and computer work that I didn't have experience in, but they actually, the director and the other associates came to me and asked me if I would be interested in taking it, if they could kind of rework the position. So basically, I'm going to have a year working with my former boss, kind of transitioning over to be able to do the things that she used to do with the computer system that we have, which is wonderfully generous, and it was just so nice of them to ask me to do that. So I started that new position this week. So yeah, so that's really pretty excited, and I'm very pleased, very happy. It does mean a different type of work, not necessarily more work, but certainly different level of responsibility in the office. But I'm really excited to be doing this. Yeah, it's gonna be really great. I'm really super happy with this. And then the other thing that they also instituted this fall was that we are able to work at home for 1 day per week. So we have enough people in our office, and we rotate it out. So each Monday I'm working from home. We have a laptop. We have, we're linked into our system through a VPN, and so we get to do everything here. But it really gives you some time then to either concentrate on a project that you need to do, or to really focus in on something if you need to do some research on something. So that's a really great perk. You have to get used to it, that's for sure. But I found that I've only done it twice so far, but the day really actually goes by fast. I'm surprised. Of course I have, my husband say, hey, what are you doing? You want to go do this? And I'm like, no, I can't go do that. I'm working. But and once we kind of get used to it, we have an extra room that I actually have set up as an office, so that works really well. I have an extra monitor, so yeah, it's all really good. The best part is that work is done at 4:45, and usually that's the time I get out, and I have an hour and a half before I'm home. So I don't usually get home until 6:30, maybe 6:45. So all of a sudden I'm like, well, I have all this, where'd this all come from? I have all this big chunk of time every Monday. So that's really exciting. So we can, either make a more elaborate dinner, or I can go out and take a really nice walk at that point. I can do some knitting. Yeah, it's going to be really a nice option. So I've had some really nice things happening at work recently. The weather is gorgeous. Certainly on the East Coast, the summer was so hot and humid, especially in an old house like this. We had to break down, and actually we got another air conditioner for the downstairs. It just wasn't livable. It was just so hot and humid. But now it's just beautiful. The trees are just starting to turn, and the weather has cooled down. I mean, there's still some days that are in the 70s, but the weather mostly is really kind of in the 60s now. And it'll go down into the 50s, and then it'll start to plummet there once we really get into the winter time. But it's really perfect. Like today is just beautiful outside. If you went outside, it's probably in the mid 60s. Beautiful, beautiful weather. There really isn't any wind today, and the trees, as I said, are just starting to change, which is fantastic. And we are hoping, hope for good weather for Rhinebeck, because that's what's coming up next. Of course, Rhinebeck. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait. It's our favorite time of the year. Sophia's like, it's my favorite weekend of the year. I just love it. And I'm like, I agree. I just agree. So we have rented a house again in Saugerties. So Sophia and myself and my sister-in-law Tracy, and Sophia's, our friends too, but Emma's mom, and Sarah. So we are renting a house, which Saugerties is maybe 20-minute drive from the Rhinebeck Fairgrounds. So that's going to be perfect. That's where it's not the same house, but it's where we rented a house last year. So I'm really looking forward to it. That worked out really, really well. We bring food, we cook our meals there, and just, it's just great to be able to come back. You don't have to drive anywhere, not like driving all the way back up to Saratoga, and it's just delightful. We are going to take a couple of days. Sophia and I are going to go over to Saratoga on Thursday. We are actually really excited about this. We're going to meet up with Lori and Corinne and Andrea and Patricia of Knitography, and now we found out that Gil of Birdie and Puppet is also going to be there. But we're going to go to over to Lori's Chickenwood Studios. We're going to go to her house, and she has like a tea on Thursday afternoon, tea and cakes and knitting, and we're really excited about being able to do that this year. So that's going to be a really nice start to it. And then Friday we'll go down to Saugerties. We have our house. I think we can get into it usually like around 3:00. We can get into it. I don't know what we'll do. I think we'll probably just stay in again Friday night. We might try to go. Last year we we tried to go to India Untangled, and the venue it just got too big in one year. All of a sudden it just popped. Then India Untangled is where there are lots of independent dyers and yarn creators and makers who get together that aren't vending at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival at the Rhinebeck, the main one, but they come together, and there's a venue for them the night before. And it has been in this little hotel, which the first year was fine because it had just started and there weren't that many there. Last year it was impossible just to even get in the door. We drove through the parking lot and we left again. We did not even try. And I think they have a different venue this year, but they're charging you, I think, to get in. I don't think it's perfectly fine. And if that's, if you really are really dying to get a hold of or look at some independent dyers. But I think we've been enough that, that's just not something we don't need to deal with the crowds that will bring. And there's going to be plenty of stuff to look at Rhinebeck. So I don't think we're going to try to do that. So I think we're just going to have a nice quiet evening and just enjoy our stay in Saugerties, and then go over to Rhinebeck on Saturday morning, of course. And don't forget, buy your tickets online. I have to do that. I haven't done that yet, but buy your tickets online. They're cheaper online. You can just print them out, or they'll be on your phone. and get them. We're going to go for 2 days. I think it's a little cheaper if you go for the 2 days. So we actually are going to be there for 2 days. So we'll be there for Saturday and for Sunday. We are so looking forward to it. It's just so nice, and hopefully it won't be as hot as it was last year. It was really too hot last year. I mean, it's, some years it's rainy and cloudy, and that's not really a lot of fun either, but sometimes you just get it right and you get this weather that's, in the high 50s, low 60s, and the trees are beautiful and the sun is shining and everyone is happy and there's yarn and patterns, and it's a lovely, lovely experience. So I'm really hoping for that last year, but less heat. So we're really looking forward to it. We will definitely be at the podcaster meetup. So if you want to come and say hello, please do. Stop us if you see us anywhere. We'll be this big gaggle. There's all these big gaggles of people together. But definitely stop us and say hello. I'd love to meet you and say hello, and say hello again if I've met you in the past. But that really, Rhinebeck, and for me, is not so much about the yarn and the purchasing, although we'll do a little bit of purchasing, I'm sure, but it's really about the people. It's about kind of getting to reconnect with folks that you've met in the past and maybe you've interacted with online or through social media during the year, and then you get to meet them in real life. And I'm really excited to do that again, and just to be part of that wonderful feeling. And it's just one of those days where if you've never been to Rhinebeck before and you're going for the first time, plan to be totally exhausted by the end of Saturday. Your feet will hurt. You just will be overwhelmed by the colors and by the people and the noise and the music and the food and the vendors and the booths and the animals, and there's just so much there, and you will be totally exhausted and totally overwhelmed by the experience. Then that's Saturday. That's insane. Sunday is like, it feels like a different place on Sunday. The number of people that go is probably cut down by half, and but all the vendors are still there. And so you get to see more, and kind of, if there's something in particular you are looking for, you probably it's easier to find and get to on Sunday than it will be on Saturday. There'll be some vendors that have lines out and around the buildings. It gets to be crazy. I know people get crazy about, I think Jenny the Potter, that sells out in like 5 minutes or stuff. But Sunday, we'll be there again Sunday, and that's just a lovely, more just to kind of breathe and sit and enjoy the fairgrounds, and kind of regroup and maybe pick up some things that we didn't have a chance to get to on Saturday. Maybe see some people too, because there are lots of people that come both days. And then we'll be coming home after that. But we'll be recharged and energized, and we'll get right back into our knitting. We also have the Red Sox right now. Go Sox. So we had won 108 games for the season, which was great. We love watching the Red Sox. They're just our favorite team, and they're on every night, really pretty much every day. Spring and the summer. And that's what kind of our go-to thing to watch at night. And so when we come to the end of the season, we're not quite sure what, but we have all these different shows kind of saved up to watch as the wintertime comes along. But so we're in the playoffs now. So we're in the very first start of the playoffs, and we're playing the Yankees. So we played the Yankees last night, and we won. Thankfully, we won last night. So now we've won 109 games. So hopefully we'll keep on going. Right through it. It's really fun because I work in the Fenway, so I work really very close to it. So as I left work last night, the first game was last night at 7:30, but so you could see that big helicopters are flying over Fenway Park for the cameras. So that was really kind of fun to see. I wasn't at the park, but I felt like I was close anyway. And then came home to watch the game last night. It's on again tonight. My poor husband, he just gets so nervous. Oh my God, so nervous about these games, but. But they give me lots of knitting time. So, and it's really enjoyable because, if you follow if you're into sports, you follow a sports game, team. You know all the players, you know the announcers, although we're done with our local announcers now, unfortunately. We're on to the national announcers. But, it's all part of you feel like you're part of a family of the sports team. So that's really, really happy and exciting. And we're all about the baseball right now. Mark, my husband, has been out and about taking lots of pictures. I'll put some at the end. He has an Instagram account, and I'll put that information up as well. Go and follow him there. He'd be really thrilled. But he takes really beautiful pictures. He's purchased a new camera this year and a new lens, and so he's been taking some pictures of the sailing events that have been here. We had I'm not going to remember what they are now, I forget what they were called, but there was a big international race just out here last week, so those boats were all out there, and so he took some pictures of those, and just some beautiful harbor pictures and pictures around Marblehead. It's that's what he likes to do, and it's his hobby, and I'm happy to have him do it. He's still rowing. He'll be rowing probably through, I would say probably into November. Just depends here on the ocean. Like, he couldn't go today because the waves are too high. There's a small craft advisory out today. We actually went down earlier this morning and took a look at the waves. Yeah, no, just a little bit too much. He would be swamped in his rowboat, even though it's an ocean rowing boat, but not today. But the days he still has plenty of time, as long as the water is warm enough. And in that the water stays warm a pretty good way, because we've got the not the jet stream, we've got we've got it's warm. It's a lot warmer here, right by the shore, in the water. So he can row until the water temperature would be too cold to really survive in it. No, he won't go that far. But if you fell overboard right now, you'd be fine. The water is still pretty warm. You're not going to have hypothermia. He could get back in again. When it gets to be too cold, the water gets too cold, and the air temperature is too cold. That's not a good thing. And then he'll put the boat away for the season. But right now he's still rowing, which is really great. And so he's not going to row today, but we're hoping that he's going to be able to row tomorrow. But he's been taking some really lovely pictures. So I'll put some at the end here as well. So I think that's about it. Again, please feel free to come say hello on Instagram or Ravelry. And if you're at Rhinebeck, come find us. We'll be on the hill during the podcaster meetup. Or if you see us around, the Rhinebeck, the fairgrounds are big, but they're not that big. And we are just looking forward to it. We're going to miss Yuki. Yuki, we're going to miss you this year. We had our friend Yuki from Japan came, and just specifically for Rhinebeck, and we got to spend so much time with her, which was so much fun last year. So we will remember you, Yuki, as we are enjoying our Rhinebeck trip. Well, I'm sure we'll be posting pictures that day as well, just so you get to see what it's all about, because it's really just such a beautiful, beautiful fairgrounds, and it's beautiful. There's lots of apples and red and orange trees and hot chocolate and coffee and all kinds of good food to be had there, as well as all kinds of yarny goodness. So I think I will end it here and put some pictures here at the end. And remember, it's just knitting. Bye.